Just went two.
Hi, is this Bigfoot?
Is this pimp juice? Yo, good to hear your voice, man.
Wow, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Rashid Zakat. Wow.
Only two of those things, man. How you doing?
Good, man. I know I had texted you and told you, the Jones already recording, so kind of hop in real quick because I know you're a busy man. You like Lex Luthor.
It's like there you go, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, man. No, thank
So,
you for even reaching out, man.
hey, listen, man. So I'm gonna hop in. So, of course, I like to, invite everybody to another episode of Melanin Dads. I have a special guest with me. Of course, I already introduced him, but I'm gonna do it again because he's an amazing person, Mr. Rashid Zakat. So, how you
There you
feeling today,
go.
bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good, good, good. Yeah, excited to ride with you, man.
Yeah. So before we hop in, I usually do a thing where I kind of give like a little backstory of kind of how our souls got, our souls somehow got entwined, and then so
I'm excited
uh,
for this.
Mr. Rashid, we actually well, yeah, we worked together at Sprint down in South Philly, which was by far probably one of the best times of my life living.
Same.
Um, we didn't really have a lot, but we had humor in each other, and it was always a good time.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta say though, I was easily the worst employee
By
at that
far, bro.
Sprint by far,
By
like
far.
considerably. You know what I mean?
It
Like
was
if you're the top
n-
measure and Steve DeVito was in the middle, you know what I'm saying?
it's crazy,
It's
man.
crazy. It's crazy right now, man. Yeah, I was terrible,
Um,
but I'm happy we still stay connected.
yeah, and but the thing is that now, if I knew what I know now, a lot what I've learned later in life that a lot of things aren't your calling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you gotta look at it as though I look back now, and even when I saw you being more active again on social media and I was active myself, and I started doing this little podcast thing. I said, okay, when I build up and I got the balls, I said I'm gonna reach out to you because I saw what you were doing, and it added to my inspiration to want to just do something different for our people.
Word, word. Yo, that means a lot, man. Appreciate that.
So um, but yeah,
Yeah,
we spent our time. We met a lot of good people. R.I.P. Keith. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
R.I.P. Keith Johnson. He was one
Good
of the
dude,
best
man.
people that I've probably ever met in life. So
Same, same.
um, yeah,
I too, like I still like am slightly connected to his people, and like he also just surrounded himself with such good people. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Just like
yeah. He did. His
yeah,
brothers, his
yeah,
really
yeah.
decent people, and just what you expect. How we all should be.
Indeed, indeed, man. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That was a good time at that place at that Sprint. Like again, like you said, it was some of the best times of my life. Definitely happened in that era.
Yeah, it helped mold you and gave you some characteristics to go out and just know that okay, it's other people that look like me that are just regular nice people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
man.
so I know like kind of like after that, my life went into a blur, and I'm pretty. I know at the time when you were working there, you were at Temple.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you
And
able to finish?
I finished. Yeah, when I think when at that time at Sprint when I started working there. This is maybe before you came to the store. I was, and I mean, I did this thing where I didn't have a lot of money. You know what I mean? I'm from Baltimore originally, and I would go to school for a year and then take off a year to work to like save money. So it took me 8 years to do school, but I did eventually finish. So
Wow. That congratulations, bro. That's just a testament to your character, man. Because
something like
I
that.
know I would have. Listen, man.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
got that. I don't got that endurance, man.
Word, word. No, I don't know. I'm somehow super blessed, and a bunch of other stuff in my life lined up in a way that like because you know that those years off weren't planned. It wasn't like I didn't set out early to do that. It would be like, yo, go to school for a year, and then I saw like, yo, I could either take $20,000 out, or I could take this time, be creative, you know, try to hustle, try to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like even when we were working together at Sprint, you know, I was working like two other jobs and going to school. So I was like going to school, you know, working 40 hours at Sprint. I was doing like freelance video stuff for people. We were trying to do like events and stuff like that on the side.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Hence why I wasn't, you know, I just wasn't present to be in that place,
And
but I was working on other things, you know?
well, you were working on other things to build your legacy. And,
Yeah.
like I said, having, back then, like I know, especially with me, my mindset was on corporate America and,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
But
know,
you had kids to take care of
work.
too, man.
Yeah.
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 You had
But then again,
responsibilities.
I have responsibilities, but I feel like I could have done, um, a little bit better with my, being awoke, and I feel like,
Mm.
at such a early age, you were there because you knew what you wanted to do to, differentiate yourself, and you hustled for it. Like you saying, you were working two jobs, going to school, having to, put your mindset into like, all right, I'm going to come back and I'm going to, I'm gonna take this year off. I'm gonna stay to it, and I don't know, I don't know. That's amazing to hear, man. Because I feel like if I asked these questions a lot, in our early years, like I probably would have a better understanding of who you were at that time.
Mm. Word. Yeah. I
But
mean,
I don't think I cared about people at that time like that.
we,
I did, but I didn't.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel like too, we were so young too. Like I feel like you even learning how to like expand your vision beyond what's immediately there. And anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like it happens to be certain things for certain people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know, like you had to take care of your kids. You had to make sure, you know, you had some sliver of like enjoyment and fun in your life and stuff like that. Where I wasn't as worried about survival in the immediate sense. You know what I mean? I mean, I was, but it was very much about like, yo, I don't know how long this period is going to be, but I gotta like get through this point of like building up my skills and trying to look legitimate for these white people, which now, you know, realizing that that's some bullshit, that's completely unnecessary. But at the time, it was like, yo, at least let me like get this. I don't know what I'm trying to do. I know I want to be creative. I know I want to do video. I know I want to work outside the system, but I know these things like having a skill set, having a degree, and having relationships would hedge my bets towards doing some stuff. So things in the immediate sense didn't make as much sense. You know what I'm saying? So um, I was interested in his people, but I wasn't necessarily interested in being a good student per se. I was interested in getting by. I wasn't interested in really being a great employee. I was interested in like trying to put my time in and do as best I could so I could put my space in those other endeavors. You know what I mean? But that's just, you know, our focuses can't be but so wide at those points in our
Right.
lives, you know?
Right. Right. Because then it's like if you try to take on too much,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's not good for you as well.
Yeah. You know, you burn out or you fail or, you know what I'm saying? Um, yeah.
So what did you when from Temple, what did you graduate, like what kind of degree?
I got, I studied film at
Okay.
Temple. So I got I don't even remember now, like a bachelor's of the arts, liberal arts, whatever. But I studied film with a minor in entrepreneurship.
Wow. Okay.
So, um, yeah, mostly just, you know, that's in school. It's interesting. I didn't really learn that much in the classrooms, but I learned everything I learned was like from people. You know what I mean? Like bumping into people in the hallways, making conversation, and they're like, "Yo, man, come work on our set, dude." And I'm like, "All right, cool. You know, I'll do that."
You're a people person, man. It's like you could be a stranger and walk up to somebody and it's like, okay, this guy's cool. We want to hang out with this guy.
Right, right. I hope
Yeah.
so. That's like hopefully most people. I don't get that all the time, but hopefully, you know, 'cause people are so fascinating to me. You know what I mean? Like everybody, I can't think of too many people that I haven't met that are just they don't have something that makes them like interesting or funny or quirky or like yeah. So I'm hopefully that's helping
So
me stay from
so
being too
you went
gross.
from Temple, and I also see that you got your own. Can you tell what's the revival about? Because I was kind of looking at some of y'all
Yeah.
videos, and then what threw me was the Princess Mononoke John, and I was like, when I talk to
Oh
you,
yeah.
we gotta talk about that.
Oh, yo, let's go, man. So Revival is I guess the best way to I guess maybe get some backstory on it. It's I DJ in my spare time. And I've been DJing, kind of on the low for a while. And because I've been doing so much video stuff for a while, when COVID hit and my work dried up, you know what I mean? Like
Projects and everything.
most of my paid work at the yeah, most of my projects at the time, I've been working as a cinematographer largely. So, somebody hits me up, yo, she bring your camera, we want you to shoot this thing, working on documentaries and other things. But for the most part, I get a call, I go to a place, I shoot, and that's how I sustain a living. And when that dried up, um, I'm like, I got a little bit of money saved up. There's a little bit of money coming in from unemployment. Let me just like take a step back and just like have fun. I wasn't really having that much fun because I've been, in particular in the last like 2 or 3 years, really trying to hustle and really trying to kind of build my business systems up. You know what I mean? Kind of get my name out there for in a way that I want to be sustainable both as a creative person as an artist. And so I haven't really been having fun with these things that I started doing because they were fun in the first place. So I like I have a bunch of YouTube videos that I downloaded, and I started in Serato, the DJ software that I use. You can put in video and DJ video, and I was like,
That's decent, yo.
it's cool. It's fun. And like, some other people, definitely other people are doing it. Like my man Sonny James is the first person I saw doing it like 10 years ago. But I was like, all right, I'm not as nice of a DJ as him and some other folks that I've seen it, but I'm a filmmaker. I love thinking about, I've been making documentaries now for 15 years and working on documentaries for forever. And so why don't I take what I know about that and kind of blend what I like about music and what I like about documentaries and like a live performance. So I'm like DJing. It's like a music set mostly, but with interludes about things about the artist you might not know, interviews, things about the music, like just whatever my curiosity follows. And however I can connect the music and what I'm trying to say to making people dance and making people also look at this like weird interesting thing. And so that's become a little playground for me to like just explore that stuff. So like the Princess Mononoke joint, that's one of my favorite movies ever.
Bro,
And me and
hands down.
yo, come on now,
Hands,
Ashitaka!
hands
Um,
down, yo.
my girlfriend has a 10-year-old, and one of the things that we do to bond is watch movies. And so, we went through the Marvel catalog, the MCU as soon as the pandemic hit. We watched all the DC movies. And recently we've been watching some of the Studio Ghibli movies. So
Mm.
Princess Mononoke is like fresh on my mind, as is Spirited Away and a bunch of those other joints. But I'm watching them. I'm like, yo, this is dope. You should put some beats under this. And so in my, studio time, I'll take some beats, take some songs, take some stuff I made, whatever, and just like clips that I like, videos that I like, like Steve Urkel doing an Urkel dance over like an Uncle Luke, you know what I'm saying, juke joint, you know what I'm saying? Just like whatever connection I can start to see and that I want to share with people. So, and then it ends up being a, 1 or 2 hour DJ set.
That's crazy, yo. You do it like
Yeah.
live or
Yeah. So
oh, I got
it
next time you jam a session, man, like send me the link or something like that so I definitely
definitely,
it's stuff like
definitely.
that. It's crazy that you brought that up because the other day I was sitting there and I told my boys because they in the anime and stuff like that. I told them I was like, yo, I said, y'all ever watch Princess Mononoke? They was like, no. I said, yo, I said, y'all don't know nothing about anime. Okay.
Yeah, for real,
These are
for real.
this is a classic right here that teaches you values. So we're gonna watch it. So we watched it. And
Do you watch that with the kids? Have the kids watch it as well?
yeah, I watched it with them. They was like, and my middle son, they both like anime, but my middle son, I feel like when you have kids, they always pick up on certain your characteristics and traits. So
Hmm.
I've always watched anime with them. I don't we never watch violent movies or anything like that. But anime, I feel like always to me shared core qualities that I wanted growing up and looking at these heroes like Goku was everybody's dad. You know what I mean?
Definitely,
So
definitely, definitely.
he was he wasn't a dad to his own kids, but he was a dad
He
to
was
me.
I was about to say like he was like off away, you know what I'm saying, on his trips getting stronger and stuff. Not really able to be there for Gohan, but he kept the world safe. You know what I mean?
And my oldest son, me and him the other day watched Akira.
Ooh, nice, nice. That's one I got to go back
So
to because I
yeah,
haven't
because
seen it.
I
Like,
When I saw that Princess Mononoke, I was like, I'm gonna hit him with the Akira, and then next time I'm gonna see you jamming something with in there, you know.
Word, word. Yo, I gotta when we offline too. I gotta ask you a lot about. I'm just starting to get into anime, like D cup anime stuff, and
Oh
it's
yeah, bro.
yo, and I'm sure because I remember even before, like I'm sure you got the plug on what I should be watching. So that's a combo for later for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I just started watching some new stuff too.
Yeah,
That's really good. That I'll put you on. Is gonna blow your socks off.
nice, nice. Yeah, violent, crazy stuff, and then also stuff I can watch with the 10-year-old is
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, there's some good stuff. Like I watch with them like sword art and stuff
okay.
like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
we could have a whole hour and 30-minute conversation about that. You know.
Indeed, indeed. Part two. That's part two.
Yes, sir. That's part two. Now, in fact, I might do a whole episode and just get my anime, niggas on the line, and we could just rap about that. That could be a whole episode by itself.
Bitch,
Like,
you see Bakugan? Get niggas in there. I'm with it. I'm with it. Hopefully I learn something.
yo, so I know you had told me that, during, COVID, like a lot of your jobs, went up and everything like that. So let me ask you this, do you feel like, did that bother you? Like, I mean, of course I know it bothered you, but were you worried? Like, are you worried right now, especially like with everything's going on with the country and all that?
Um, I'm always worried. You know what I'm saying? um,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's that definitely. But at the same time, I've been trying to. Somebody told me this a while ago. Like when you get nervous, especially like about in particular about like political things, about the country, about like dictators, people in power and stuff like that. Start to look at history as much as you can and like start to find connections because people are predictable. People behave in relatively predictable ways in the bigger scheme of history. You know what I mean? Most folks want to be comfortable. Most people want to feel like they know they have a bead on what's going on in the world, and they want to feel, like whatever the status quo they know to be is being upheld. Um, it's not so often you get times in history where people both want to rock the boat and the conditions are there for people to rock the boat. You know what I mean? Like we're at an interesting time right now where it's like there's no way of predicting or even coming close to predicting what's about to go down over these next couple of months. You know what I mean? Like we could have a totally innocuous, after election where, Mango Mussolini gets voted out or not. And for the most part, people keep doing what they do. You know what I mean? People keep going to, buying their groceries and you know what I mean, looking at Instagram and stuff. Or this could be one of those crazy moments in history where I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, it would almost have. I feel like I'm trying to mitigate my fear by saying like if whatever happens, I don't know if Americans. It's some crazy white people, especially in PA, some crazy ass white people. But I don't know if there are enough people to be as brolic to really like mess some stuff up. You know what I'm saying? Because we're just lazy. We're just lazy, and there's too many lazy people for momentum. That's what I'm telling myself. Who knows in reality? But you know,
Yeah. I've been trying to tell myself that too, but then it was like I think about, I do get afraid because of just I don't know I would have what I would do, or if something happened to somebody I knew
yeah,
because of
yeah,
this.
yeah,
You know, I even look at what they were trying to do to the governor in
yeah,
Michigan.
yeah.
And I was just saying this the other day because they something in like I think it was like Louisiana or Louisville, something like that, where they found out this cop was a neo-Nazi. And I was saying to myself, I said, it must feel really good to be able to sleep at night, knowing that, knowing that y'all ain't got to worry about no black people coming together
Right.
and saying, hey, let's go be police officers, let's go be politicians, let's go be sanitate, whatever it could be to have some type of power, they don't have to worry about us going and doing that and to fuck up their
What's
life
crazy to
or kill them, you
what's
know?
crazy to me is sometimes I feel like though they do have that fear. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, yo, it's completely unreasonable for them to to feel that way. You know what I'm saying? But it almost feels like sometimes they're acting out of this thing like, yo, if we don't motivate ourselves, if we don't protect our country, if we don't protect our values, um, they're gonna take over. They're gonna take everything away from us. You know what I mean? And I don't know. That's just bizarre. Like like somebody was saying before, or I was reading something that was like, your people are far more motivated to keep what they have more than they are to like to get something new. You know what I'm saying? And all of these people that it seems like that they have this privilege, they have this power, they're aware of on some level that they're really fighting hard to protect against. But to be that motivated, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. People are crazy.
Yeah, because I was reading and they were saying like a lot of those like militias didn't really start becoming real active until Obama became
Right,
president. And that just made me think like, okay, I know
right,
why.
right.
So,
I mean, that's what Trump
you
is,
know,
right? Like Trump is a reaction to Obama directly. You know what I mean?
right,
Like I don't know if
right.
if who was going against Obama in the first dude, Mitt Romney. It would
Mitt Romney and also wasn't it John
and
McCain
John
too?
McCain, yeah,
No,
John McCain in the second term. And I want to say Joe Biden ran against Obama in the early Democratic primaries. Joey Grabass,
he
and
did. He did.
he might get his wish. Which sidebar, yo, this nigga makes Joe Biden look good. How do you make Joe Biden look good, yo? That's like that to me is like if Starscream was running for president, and you're like, well, it's not Megatron, you know, we can anyway. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. This shit is crazy.
Yo, the crazy part is that I think I got my side humor out that comes out loud that's in our head from
Really,
you.
for real, yo, you, I
Yeah, because I didn't start doing. Yeah, I started noticing. I was like, yeah, I know where I got this from. And then now you said that, and on my episodes, I literally have like one or two or three, maybe 17 outbursts like that. You know.
Yo, that's the highest praise, man, because you're one of the funniest dudes that I know. Like, I still go back every so often and just crack up at random shit you used to say at Sprint. You used to walk past my shit and just drop multiples, or just drop like a Steve impression or some stuff. Yo, or like,
Out of nowhere, that was
or like,
bro. We weren't made
no,
to
we
work
weren't,
together,
man. I
man.
remember because they were. I cannot remember how many customers came in the store that after they left, you would just be in my ear with like a one line comment about, and like, yo, had me dying for the rest of the day on some offensive shit that I couldn't like tell anybody else but like Keith. You know what I'm saying?
Right? We would make songs about the phones,
Yeah,
like we had the
yeah, yeah,
upstage
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. Damn. Yo, this is other time that comes to mind. I remember you were telling the story about this woman. You were listening to like an Amy Winehouse song or something like that, and there was this woman like struggling on the street, but like to the same beat that you were having or something like that. I hesitate to say the word crackhead because that's politically incorrect, but someone struggling with some things. Anyway, yeah, man, no, good times. And it's crazy to just look at, what is that, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that, like 12 years.
No, longer than that because it was about
Yeah,
11,
because
12
you were on
years.
what, kid two, kid one, you were like kid one and a half, maybe.
No, I was
Okay,
kid
yeah,
1.5, yeah. And then after I left there, no, I wasn't. I was
okay,
only kid one because remember I left there and went to
right,
Six
right.
Ninth
Well, by the
Street.
time you left the 69th Street, I got fired. So, uh,
Oh yeah, that's right, you did.
yeah, and then I didn't see you T popped up at T-Mobile downtown, but yeah,
Yep, yep. I was there, and then I from there I went to I was at
that's right,
Comcast
that's
for a little
right.
bit, and I couldn't do it no more, man. I couldn't do the numbers, I couldn't do the goals, I couldn't do the taking from people to
Yeah,
feed my
yeah,
people,
yeah.
so I mean, even though it's a struggle, it's a harder struggle with the job I have now. Um, my mind is so much freer. I mean, my pockets aren't freer,
Which
but my
I
mind
mean, that's
is.
honestly, that's the win, man. I mean, because you can have, a good life and stuff monetarily, but if you're not sleeping well at night, you know what I mean? Or if you're not like able to really sit back and relax and just like, enjoy kicking, hanging out with your kids, hanging out with your wife, like going outside, just like simple stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure what the point is, you
Mhm.
know? Um,
Yeah, because you learn,
yeah,
money comes and goes. Like it's never going to be a
yeah,
permanent thing
yeah,
ever.
yeah,
You know, so I stopped struggling about that. A little while, not a long time ago, but a little while ago, and it changed my like. Cause my wife, she does
yeah,
natural hair for a living, so she's her own business owner. So she got hit with COVID as well, just like every entrepreneur
yeah,
like yourself. So it's been a struggle, but it's like these are the times where you gotta look your partner in the eye and say, hey, like, at the end of the day, all I could do is be a better
yeah,
partner for you
yeah,
in this time, and vice versa. And you know, that's why I had to tell her, like, I don't know why you're so stressed right now.
yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
fucked up.
yeah. It's like, and that's an interesting blessing, and I hesitate to call it a blessing, but something about this moment. Oh snap! Something about this moment is like, I think everybody's definitely struggling in different ways, but there's some uncertainty that we're all feeling in a similar fashion. You know what I mean? Definitely in different intensities.
Hmm.
Definitely for folks that have different health issues and whatever, all the different variations and stuff. But it's like a similar. It's unfortunate that it has to be a fear and uncertainty, but we're all feeling it. You know what I mean? Like everybody's taking, except for Jeff Bezos, we're all taking like a hit. Emotionally. Jeff chilling
Yeah,
right now.
Jeff chilling
Jeff
right
just
now.
bought another island and filled it with some like Somali kids to like serve him.
The crazy part is he said, fuck his wife. He don't care how much he got to pay her. That's how you can tell you got money because, they always got that saying,
Right,
it's always
right.
cheaper to keep
He's
her.
like, nope.
But he said, y'all must not heard of Drake, the prophet himself, when he said, YOLO.
He's like, you know what? It's cool. It's a pandemic coming. I'm working on this project with the Chinese. It's cool. I'm gonna make all this money back. We good.
He said, Biden about to be president. He about to
Right.
open those borders back up. He about to
He's
get me
about to
that
make it
bread from
poppin'.
China.
Yo, yeah, man. Who would have?
And we
Who
about to be
this
good.
is? Who even a year ago? Who could have thought that this is the world that we're living, that we would have been living in? You know, like,
Bro, I thought when he became elected that somebody had
yo,
put something in my drink. And my mind was like, yo, what just
yo,
happened 5 minutes ago?
yo, man. I remember that night and going to sleep, and I was like, you know
Bro,
what? It's cool. You know what? Like, 'cause I think Hillary was like up a little bit, and I was like, yeah, you know what? It's cool. I'm gonna go to sleep and go wake up in the morning. Hillary will be the new dictator. It's cool. And I remember the first image I opened up on like Twitter, and it's like, damn, damn, we gonna die. Cut two, I don't even know what the numbers are now for COVID, but
uh, don't quote me, but the last time, because at my job, they always keep the news on, which is crazy how when you look at because I don't look at news at home. Like we don't watch the news. I give my black kids enough information
hmm
to be safe out in the world. Because I feel like when we were younger, our
yeah,
parents didn't tell us
yeah,
enough shit. So whereas like now you're still trying to be an adult at 30 plus years, plus now you got to raise other children to be adults, so it's like is weird. So I watch work they watch MSNBC here, I believe. Yeah, and it's like, most of them, they're all like, trashing Trump all day. But when you listen to these people talk, it's like, okay, this is the common sense that we all should
Yeah.
be having when it comes to this. But then when you turn the channel, it's like what they're saying. Like, all right, for example, the
Which
whole
I
thing with
actually am
50
not
Cent
all the way
recently.
updated on.
All right, so I somewhat looked in and see that the thing is and the reason why we're talking about this because I know you're uh intellectually competent enough to follow me, so um I started kind of like before I wanted to do this, of course, like I really don't mainly talk about um politics on my show is mainly geared towards
Hmm.
black enrichment, black fatherhood, just being a black man in this place,
Definitely.
that we live in, so but I started listening to this podcast called The Rabbit
Oh,
Hole. You know who put me on it?
Akabuchi.
Akabuchi.
Who is that? Why does that name sound familiar?
Hmm. He was at I don't know if he was
Okay,
at Sprint when
no.
you were there though, but he got well, no, he might have been after you then, but he was on one of my episodes
Well, they sound
as
familiar.
well. But man, he's done multiple Black Lives Matter
Right.
rallies and protests um,
Hmm.
at downtown. Um, to hear a Caucasian person talk about white privilege and how they
Yeah.
know that they have white privilege, it it's refreshing, and it kind of eases my heart a little bit knowing that there is some Caucasian people out there that are like this, who are willing to, say, hey, I know that my black friend's hurting, or my Spanish friend's hurting. Let me console them and tell them that I understand, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
why they feel that way.
I
You know
think
what I mean?
I think about
So,
something similar like that too with
um,
being a man, especially being a black man, where there's a particular
mhm.
type of privilege I experience that a lot of that women can't experience, right? Because of patriarchy and sexism. And trying to think about like that stuff
Mhm.
almost in the same lines of like thinking about my woke white friends, my progressive white friends, my white friends that just have home training for real. Um, and like their approach of like
Mhm. Mhm.
trying to be aware of how they fit into racism, especially structural racism. But you know what I mean? Like and like there's like a fine line. I appreciate when my white friends walk, and I'm realizing more and more like there's a similar line I think as a man. I'm trying to learn how to walk as well. Of like I don't know, just recognizing by intent or not where there are places where just my presence can like marginalize another woman, in particular, black women. You know what I mean? And yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
no doubt. And that's the like I guess to kind of piggyback what you're saying. Yeah, we do take for granted some of the things that we have that um maybe we don't
yeah,
see that
yeah.
other people go through, like women. Um, and I the but it's like I've never looked at a woman and was like, okay, yeah, let's do X, Y, and Z, or
Right,
hey, you need
right.
to do this to get here, or what I mean? Like I even earlier today, I don't know what maybe oh yeah, because I saw they for some reason posted
Okay.
Bill Cosby's mugshot recently. And I said, yo, my man got 3 to 10 years for allegedly raping one woman, a white
Yeah.
woman at that. But they still try and get my man Weinstein, and he
Hmm.
got over 100 cases with
Yeah,
sworn
yeah.
testimonies and everything. Um, so and then I started reading off some of the names. I'm like, dang, yo, he was
All your
going
favorites,
ham
favorites.
on, you know, all my favorite actresses. He was like, yo, you ain't gonna become this
Well, and that's
star
and I guess that's when I think
unless you
about
do
how
this.
power in any racially, sexually, class wise, all that stuff, right? Like when I think about how power works, and you and in a way that, you know, we're all culprits of participating in a system, right? But then in another way, you have these people who are able to identify that and exploit it in a way that like messes up a lot of people. You know what I mean? And in a way that couldn't happen to me in that way. You know what I'm saying? Like similar things can happen, but it's so unlikely I'm gonna walk into a studio and a dude's gonna be like, "Oh, you trying to make this documentary?" You know what I'm saying? And he like shows me his twig and berries. You know, and
And you'd be like,
right,
oh
right.
well,
And
I
it's like
want to
even
be a
thinking about the
filmmaker.
potential of that to happen to somebody, you know, that's like an extreme case, but then like there's even
Yeah,
smaller things that we don't even think about a challenge that have the potential to happen to some people that don't have the potential to happen to other people, that if you're a part of this one group, you're extra vigilant. You know what I mean? You're extra worried, you're using extra brain power to just like ensure your safety. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I don't know, just trying to be aware of just where I even play in that in a way. You know what I mean? Um, yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I feel like that's very important just to build a safe space and protecting what not only women but more particularly we already
yeah,
understand how
yeah.
harder it is for us and people always say, well, you say it's harder, and I'm not saying that I per se had it harder. I don't know if I had it harder because maybe in situations where I thought I was supposed to get a promotion or supposed to be treated this way and I didn't because I thought it maybe was on me, could have been because of a different reason. And you don't know about those things because in school, I
Right,
still remember
right.
Christopher
Fuck that
Columbus
dude. But
being an
yeah,
amazing
yeah.
man, you know.
But
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and it's like I
yeah,
guess all these things like you were saying earlier, it's like you have these things that you just get better at over time. You know what I mean? Or learn how to see a broader picture the older you get and the more conversations you have with people and the more, you know, you're able to study and read stuff and like figure things out, you know? Um, because yeah, I mean, also like I think about Christopher, you know, so much of history and so much of these things are made to like control, but like keep us compliant. You know what I mean? To like to celebrate the myth and to not think that we can like not even to think we can challenge the system before that you get to that, but like not even just think about another way of doing stuff, like a better way of doing things or a different way of doing things. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, yeah. That's again another rabbit hole for another day. But yeah.
right, right. It's just and kind of piggyback some of the things that you told me you've been doing. And when I first came up with this idea of doing this podcast, actually it wasn't supposed to be a
Word,
podcast.
word.
I was going to do a documentary. And the first person
Word.
I thought about documentary was you. And I was like, actually it was a different couple, young, black filmmakers that are in Philadelphia that I had reached out. I actually, one of my other friends,
Oh yeah, yeah,
his
yeah.
name's Kabana,
Word.
and yep, yep. So we worked together at Comcast together, and somebody else that knows him was like, "Yo, you know him?" So it's such a small community that we all know each other, but it's the best part about it is that it's so many
Yeah,
great
yeah.
is great versions of us. You you know, they get so stuck on, oh, they're out here killing each other. They're out here, uh, you know, raping and pillaging each other, animals. This
Hmm.
is why they were, we enslaved them, amount of years ago. And then I had to realize that there is actually good ones of us out here who are trying to change that narrative and just trying to show that there is better versions of us that want to be better people
Definitely,
for our
definitely, man.
community and for the
And like
world.
it's fascinating you say like change the narrative because it's that I think that's like what it is really. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of like what you were saying about Christopher Columbus. Like you get this story of this great man, and that's locked in. The way you see the world is in some way that in some way has something to do with how you see the world and like the boundaries you put onto that. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. So much of what I'm interested in, even just like in conversations with folks, is like there's like a there's like a I don't know, there's like a narrative that we all have, or like a frame that you put the world in. It's just natural to do as a human being. You know what I mean? And I think maybe because I have a weird name, maybe because my mom is the person that she was, I've always just been interested in how to interrupt that narrative. You know what I mean? Even within myself, you know what I'm saying? Like it's so easy to default to like whatever, black people aren't doing things positive as a black man. They're, these set things that I'm gonna fall victim to and fall prey to. And it's almost like you get these buckets where it's like I'm either gonna be, robbing people and then go to jail and then, you know what I mean, be absent from my kids and, be whatever, all the stereotypes. Or I'm gonna be doing everything to oppose that. You know what I'm saying? And to me, both of those things feel like traps. Like
Right.
trying to oppose the narrative to me feels like I'm still stuck on a rat race of reacting to how somebody else has decided they want to see me. You know what I mean? And how they want to see people like me. Whereas, yo, again, all the people I met, I've never met the same person twice. You know what I mean? Like even the most boring, disinterested person that I've met has something weird or fascinating or something. They just see the world in a different way, and in a way, if I let myself, I can also tap into. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. Just trying to keep. It's like I think I spent so much of my early life trying to avoid being a certain type of stereotype, and then I realized, yo, this is as oppressive as the other side of it. You know what I mean? Because I'm still living my life around this narrative, even if I'm trying to do the opposite of what that narrative is presenting. You know what I mean? Versus like do the hard work of like, yo, who am
No.
I? What do I want? What am I trying to do? What's my day to day?
Right.
You know? Um, yeah, yeah.
No doubt. And let me ask you this. So I know you had mentioned that you're, originally, you were born and raised in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, how do you feel like, I'm not sure if, yeah, I know, like, we see things on TV like The Wire and porn, so you just think that, I mean, but I guess it's the same thing when people equate how Philadelphia is. Like they see the news and it's like, okay, it's a
Right,
war zone
right.
there, so um, but as you get older, you start to understand that you have to actually ask that particular person how their experience was in that city or area.
Yeah.
How do you? What I'm trying to get at is how was Baltimore for you as a child growing up? Um, was it hard? Like was it like you see on the TV, like that part of where
A
you were
little
at
bit,
as a kid?
yeah, yeah. I mean, The Wire isn't inaccurate in a lot of how I didn't watch The Wire, I think, for like 10 years until I watched The Wire. Yeah, like 10 years ago, I watched it for the first time. And it was like, oh damn, this feels like home to a large degree. I grew up kind of a little bit in East Baltimore, a little bit in West Baltimore, both both growing up in the hood. One, East Baltimore was a lot rougher than West Baltimore. And then in particular, I've always been the person I am now. So I've always spoken the way that I speak. You know what I mean? I've always sort of been like goofy in the way that I'm goofy. And,
Right.
that those traits in the hood garnered some really interesting results. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know how to be anything different. So there was a lot of things I think by just virtue of my personality, I was lucky enough to not just get caught up in. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like I was always dorky, I was always nerdy, I was always like, "Hey guys, what's up? What are we doing?" Um,
I will always, when I went to school, man, because I went to school, uh, I don't know, it was people think because I went to Penwood, they think it was just, oh man, you went to a white school. I'm like, no, it was predominantly
Yeah,
black people there, but I grew up with the Asians and the white people, so I sound the way I sound. So a lot of times I would go to school and they'd be like,
right,
you sound white,
right,
and I always have to tell them like, no, I just like to enunciate
right.
words correctly. I don't know, like as I got older, I had to like, I had to switch it up from time to time. Like I couldn't like, a hood nigga walk in the store. I can't be
Right.
like, for shizzle, would you like a phone?
You like this? You like this trio? Yeah, yeah. And
Hey, this phone is made by Beyonce, like, and I gotta be like, nah, man, this is the joint you want right here, man. You want to definitely get this
yeah,
case, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying, man? Then it's like now I gotta switch it up, now I feel like Malibu's
right.
most
But
wanted.
that's a superpower, though. You know what I'm saying? Because then being able to
Oh
communicate
yeah,
with lots of different in a way that they understand, and in a way, like the challenge is like trying to do that in a way that feels authentic. You know what I mean? But the still being able to communicate with lots of different types of people. Not everybody can do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you're similar to me, where like my people from back home are the hoodest of hood niggas, you know what I'm saying? And then, having other experiences with, millionaire folks that, can't fathom the idea of like, you know, skipping a meal, you know what I'm saying? And still being able to be like, yo, we all shit
yeah,
toilets. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be that much variance in that. You know what I mean?
you know, no doubt, and that now that you said that, it's like I would make the best friends and relationships with
Yeah.
different people, and my time at T-Mobile downtown, one of my customers, this is probably one of the most dopest Caucasian guys I've ever met. But he would come down there, and he was a I'll tell you exactly what he was. Real estate. He was a real estate person or agent. I don't know what their title is, but for the businesses downtown. So
Hmm.
he was getting that guap. But because I knew how to talk to him, I didn't make him feel like he was
Right.
stupid, but actually wanted to help him. Like he would, everywhere I go, he would call my phone, "Hey, Julian, I need your help," or, "Hey, Uh, but I knew that he, we had a relationship together, and but I just said that because of what you said, because you got to be able to talk to different
Yeah.
people in
Yeah.
certain ways to get the same thing out of them, you know.
Yeah. Also, though, what you just said
So
with that, like, it's about what you see for yourself too, like what you see for your own potential. Like some that almost gets you in a space of like, because I've just watched people get shell shocked meeting folks who, for whatever reason, there's a status difference or like class anxiety or whatever that is. Um, but there's something
mhm.
about, I don't know, it's something about that too, that like, your own worth, that you can manage whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, well, you know what? Yeah, this person is, hit me up that I can deal with that. I don't know, man. I just the the yeah.
so was
Yeah,
it
it was
just
just me and
you and your
mom's.
mom?
My mom and pop split when I was like 5. They were married, and my pops just wasn't able to get his shit together, and so they split. And for the most part, he makes guest appearances every so often, um, but he's never really been a big part of my life. So yeah, it was yeah, largely me and her, and
Wow.
then we briefly moved in with my grandma. Uh,
I'm sorry about that, bro.
yeah.
I never knew that, man.
No, no, yo. I mean, honestly, not to sound messed up, but I think I dodged a bullet. I think I would be way more fucked up if my pops was around. Even though I think there's some things I had to figure out on my own and manage. I
Yeah.
don't know him very well, but the little bit that I know him as an adult, I can't imagine I would be like an even killed as even killed person as I was. I think if he was in my life, I don't. Yeah, I think it's good that he wasn't there, even though there was some setbacks.
Yo, shout out to your mom for, you know, just helping create the person that you are, man. I'm pretty sure you guys have a good
Oh
relationship.
yeah, that's the homie. She's a shit. And she's just I think she too is just like a really special person, Like she because of her stuff that she went through when she was a kid, she had a lot of not so great things happen to her when she was younger. I think she was really intentional for me. In some ways, I wish I had a better way to describe it, but I think she was really intentional in making sure in some ways I just didn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? That it's like, yo, you're gonna fail, you're gonna fuck up, people are gonna not like you, people are gonna judge you, people are gonna challenge you, you're gonna get beat up, you're gonna get knocked down, like somebody bigger than you is gonna take your shit, like it's just you're gonna
Wow.
face all these setbacks, and as long as you're not dead, you can still keep going. And so the rest is up to you to choose. Like I can choose my attitude, I can choose, um, how I want to move forward. I can just choose the type of person I want to show up to the people I care about as. Um, with all the things I'm working on about myself, I think she made sure that was present, and I think that saved me a lot of headache over time. Um, yeah.
Uh, that's huge, man. And what really made me get into this show was like talking about like generational curses and stuff like that. And I feel like what you just said about your mom alone, that could have crippled
Yeah.
her and made her into um, somebody who wasn't going to be beneficial for you. And she was able to overcome that. And I'm pretty sure to this day it still haunts
I'm
her.
sure. I'm
You
sure.
know, but that's where the strong black women um, come through, and they got one goal, and that's just to break them
Yeah.
curses.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm very transparent with my kids about my childhood,
That's so.
and make sure that I guide them in a direction where they don't have to worry about
Hmm.
struggling or being somebody who's going to be you know productive and not have to like I've come to a realization that I grew up young, and then as I became of age, then I wanted to be a child.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I still find myself now being a child, like not doing certain things because I want to do something different, because I want to do something for myself for a change. But then it's like I feel like I give up on the important things because I just like I've been working since I was
Right.
16, so I've always worked my life. I've never been a child,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they don't have to worry about that. They got video games, they got electricity, they got gas, they got food, they got love, they got family time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's so clutch, man.
those are things that I craved. Yeah, I craved for as a child. Like I wanted those things, man. I wanted not to have to take care of my sisters, or I didn't want to have to be like without, take showers without hot water or even electricity. Well, because the hot water ain't gonna work without the electricity,
Right.
so they don't have to worry about that. And if it's something that's going on, they ain't gonna feel it or know about it.
Yeah. 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 It's wild, man. I mean, do you feel like now in your in your adulthood, and now, even with the kids getting older, I know even the youngest is still, not autonomous in a way, but like, do you feel like you're able to find those spaces for yourself to like even just like address that?
Um, Now I am, because I'm more. I feel like I'm doing a better job of, I guess, trying to do the big C word,
Hmm.
communication. Um, and communicate that these are things I need. But now the kids are getting older, so like my son's 13, he's an adult pretty much. He don't
Right.
bother me.
You
I
just gotta you just gotta feed
my
them.
son's 10. Yeah, that's it. And a lot of times he can feed
Right.
himself. Now I'm teaching him to feed not only himself but also feed his
Hmm.
siblings
Hmm.
too,
Hmm.
and ask questions. Oh, you hungry? I'm getting ready to make a grilled cheese sandwich because it's going to take you an extra 10 seconds. And I'll be like, he like, I don't feel like it. And I'll be like, well, think about when I gotta
Right.
make dinner. Do you think I feel like it?
Yeah.
No, but I know it's my job to make sure that you eat, sir. So at least that you could do is check on your siblings just like I
Right.
check on you. Like it's the
Yeah.
same thing,
And
man.
that, but that type of consideration isn't natural. Like you got to reinforce that and like show them,
Oh
you
yeah, you
know,
have to, because I saw that he was getting. I saw his nonchalantness he was getting
yeah,
from me, and I had to break that because I didn't want him growing up, treating women a certain way, or just being real stone cold and not having a personality and just not being caring. It's like there's no reason why that you aren't this way, and you have a father who tells you
right,
he loves you.
right.
So because off the bat, it's not like I'm chastising you to be a you need to be a man. No, I want you to express how you feel because I feel like a lot of us can't do that
Definitely,
naturally,
definitely, definitely. And
So
again, man, I don't think that we're in a culture that promotes, especially men, being able to do that.
oh
You know what I
no.
mean? Like I mean, I think, and I think things change as you get older, but I think there's so many men who, over so many generations, have been told that, oh, you're not supposed to say how you feel, or like if you feel away, that's a woman's thing, or you're a sissy, or you're a punk. Like the
Mhm.
where in reality, like, yo, we're human beings, dog. Like, yo, we get happy, we get sad, we get scared, we feel all those emotions at a time. And it's like crucial for all of us to know, just to know yourself and to be able to like share that and how you're feeling, even if it's not pleasant or exciting. You know what I mean? Um, and then the vice versa actually may be even harder. Like I've been just thinking a lot lately about how many of my friends, particularly my male friends, that I say I love you to, and like the I feel blessed because I have a lot of dudes. I mean, too, just by nature, growing up in church, that it feels really natural to do that. But then I think about a lot of other dudes that we have that closeness, but it's like that it's still some dance. You know what I'm saying? Of like that, like, are you comfortable with me saying that? Like, are you coming from a place like what's your conception of just sharing feelings and being vulnerable and like holding space for somebody and like you know as a person with a penis,
Right, right, and bro, I'll tell you this, man. This is because I've been trying to do it. Like, what I'm trying to do is I've been doing my shows
Hmm.
like seasons. So like fall, winter,
Man,
and this will be, I think, see, this is season two. I want to say episode maybe 14 or
right.
15 that we're doing right now, and so season one was 10 episodes, 10 different men. No, 9 men and one female. And everybody, every episode at the end, I've always told them I love them because
Yeah,
that might be the last
yeah,
time we talk. You know, the way everything going now with the virus and everything. So that's the thing. Like us as Black people already
yeah,
have a shortened
yeah,
life
yeah.
as it is. You know what I mean? And you adding extra layers of toppings on like a pizza, it might be the last time. Like, look what happened. Like, I
Yo,
didn't get a
bro.
chance to tell Keith that I loved
Yeah,
him, and
yeah,
I love
yeah,
that. I love that guy.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I love that guy. So it's one of the things that I always resent. To this, even when I went to his funeral, and I that's really how I felt. Like I was like, wow, like I
Yeah.
just talked to this guy, and I didn't get an opportunity to tell him that. And I know that the next time when I see him, I'll make sure I tell him that. Because for him to, but back then I didn't
Right,
understand what that word meant.
right.
And the weight it holds and how it can change the perception and vulnerability of one person by just telling them that and that
Seriously,
could change their
seriously,
day.
seriously. Because I think
So
a lot of something I've been thinking
um
about a lot, man, is like, yo, the main thing most people want, after like food and shelter and all of that, is like just to be seen and to just like, that's it, really, to be seen and like seen as who they are, seen as to have somebody, hold space for them and be there for them. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Trying to do that as much as
and
possible.
no it right. And they always say that saying, give somebody their
Yeah.
flowers while they're here. And uh I had did an IG live with this young lady, and she was we went to school together, but she was now like a therapist or um, someone who inspires you. I forgot what the name they call them, but she wanted me to be on there to talk about, being a man, father, feelings and all that. And I was very transparent, and there was other women asking me like, why, men, I got my man, his friend died and he was just crying the whole time, but I never understood why I
Mm.
never heard him tell me he loved me. And I just said, is this idea that, it lessens our stock, it, a mask, I don't know why. I don't know this bravado. So another gentleman, another guest has said to me, it's the bravado, it's the one to feel
Hmm.
like you're
Hmm.
macho man, So it's weird though, because it's like, why are we talking about everything else under the sun, but we're not talking about how we feel, especially if like I'm not homosexual and you're
And
not as
shit,
well
even
too.
if I am, you know what I'm saying? I may not be trying to fuck you,
Yeah,
even if I am,
even if,
you know what I'm saying?
but and that's the thing. I always tell people, they're like, "Oh, you say you love
Yeah.
you said you loved them." I say, "Yeah." I said, "But I know where my sexuality is, and I know even if he was that way, just don't
I
try.
guess that's
Just
something
don't
that's
bring it to
something that
me."
I think that's fascinating too. Even when I was saying it earlier, I was thinking about like being a kid when I was little, being called gay.
Oh
That
yeah.
was that was like the worst
Oh
insult,
yeah.
and I can't get around this idea. I mean, I'm talking specifically about black men, and I can't get around this idea. I mean, I think it's this idea of like patriarchy and white supremacy that is absolutely put upon us, right? And we're reacting to these other forces in our own sort of micro interactions. But it's like the it's like it's being gay is an insult because it's something that puts you in adjacency with femininity, right? And then femininity is looked at this thing that's soft and this thing that is no, it's like none of the things you want to be are in that direction, right? Like you want to trend more towards being hard, you want to be the alpha, you want to be ruling, you want to be all these things that are actually kind of like terrible things to be or like fucked up things to be. Like I think about all the people that I know that were parented by hard men and they had a fuck ton of trauma to overcome. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't do people a lot of good.
Yep.
Um, versus embracing that softness that we because we're all soft, you know what I mean, like human life is short, it's fragile, and we, especially as black people and especially especially as black men, our lives are just short, generally shorter than anybody else, any other demographic, you know what I'm saying. And we have all of these things that when you're really looking at all these traumas that we have, a lot of them are because or like these reasons that we're dying early. So many of them are because we're not communicating. We are thinking we're invincible or trying to pretend like we're invincible, and we're not like addressing a particular type of like shame that is almost you're looked at, you're seen to be, less than. And if you don't have anything to compare it to, you know what I mean? If all the messages you're getting are, man, that's gay to talk about your feelings. It's gay to be soft, man. It's gay. Like, man, that's gay. You gay. You drinking water, nigga, that's
You're like,
gay.
oh,
You say?
you gonna start what you gonna start doing? Clutching
Right.
your pearls,
It's
right?
like,
Like, yeah, let
no,
me be
for
quiet.
real, right? Because as humans, we want to experience being accepted by the group. And we want to, especially as young men, we're trying to figure out who we want to be and who we
Hmm.
are, and looking at the examples that are there, and we're trying to also not be vulnerable in the ways that we're specifically vulnerable as black men. Like this is weird mind fuck because we're
Hmm.
like we're men, so that gives us this type of status, right? But then we're black, and then that takes and that in this culture takes away a space of status, and then we find ourselves in this dumbass space of like trying to be fucking Diddy's or Ice Cubes where we're making things worse in some regards for ourselves and for our communities and for the world, largely because we're not like tuning into ourselves and we're not listening to ourselves and we're not like acknowledging a lot of
Nope.
shame that is just there, and that's just part of this. It's like it's part of the experience of being a human being, but then there's something else about being a black man that I've yet to meet maybe one or two black men, like born in America, that didn't have a thing they were carrying around with them. You know what I'm saying? Like this baggage that's a mix of like, yo, I want to be free, but all the ways that I've interpreted and internalized being free are either around harming somebody else or around capitalism or around dominance. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's my soapbox, man. Um,
Listen, I, I always tell people like that's why like we were talking about earlier about 50 Cent, and I just see only people I see upset are rich people and
what's
his
Virgil Cent talking
supporters.
about?
And uh
Curtis.
you talking about what Curtis talking about? So Curtis was saying that he voted for Trump because of Biden's tax thing. But prior to all this, when that the VP debate and Pence kept saying they're going to raise your taxes.
Right.
He was talking to the rich people because she was like, "No, we're only raising it when people make 400,000." Dog, ain't none of us okay
Right. Right.
legally making $400,000. None of us. None of us. But it's sad, bro. I lost so many. I can't even say friends, but I lost so many acquaintances, man. People that I hung out with, spent time with, spent energy with, and I really, I after when all this started trickling down, I said,
Mm,
"You really
I
didn't
feel
care
that.
about me, because if you did, you wouldn't be siding with somebody who strategically,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
is racist and who blatantly supports." Off the bat, the bull had Steve Bannon, who was
Yeah,
the
man.
head of the KKK,
Yeah, man.
as his
But you know, so
cabinet
much of
person.
ascension for black men, I feel like is transcending race. You know? Like we're always trying to do that shit. Like we're always trying to be like, kind
Yep.
of mimic what oppressive ass white motherfuckers are doing so we can do that version for ourselves, so we can be the alpha in that space, or trying to get in bed with them in a way that says I'm more than, because of the stigma that we have about being black men. It's like this way I feel like that folks are trying to, and I mean, 50, that's not even in the least bit surprising from 50. 50's been saying that from jump. You know what I mean? That like his religion is money, fuck everything else. Um, and that's part of his own trauma. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so I don't know, man. I don't know. I almost
Yep.
can't even give these niggas credence or pay them that much attention because I want to feel away. I want to be surprised. I want to like, oh yeah, but it's like, no, nigga, we've known who you are from jump, and that's what this shit does to us. That's what the system does to you. Like it makes you want to abandon. I've again, nary a black man I know, I'm myself included, have not had the moment of thinking money was gonna solve all of our problems. You know what I mean? Or the pursuit of money was gonna solve.
Only thing it
Yeah,
solves,
yeah.
only thing it
And even
solves
then,
is
it
to keep
doesn't.
keep the man off your back.
Wesley
That's all it
Snipes.
solves, and
Like,
that's only a temporary
that's
thing.
not even
No,
the case. Like something else I find interesting. Yeah.
but the
No, no,
crazy
no,
part
no.
is, bro, I'll let you get to that. I mean to cut you off because I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss that. The crazy part is that
Damn.
this bull wanted to go on the payment plan to pay these people.
Yeah.
He said, "Let me go on the payment plan so I can pay off what I owe. I understand I messed up. Let me go on the
We got to make an
payment plan."
example of you.
They said, "No, bro, you about to do this time." Meanwhile, my man paid seven
Yo,
hundred
fam,
and fifty
fam.
dollars or $60,
I
bro.
mean, I wanna hate the player, but that nigga probably has a really great tax attorney. You know what I'm saying? He probably has the infrastructure to do that. But to go back to Wesley and just other black men in general, like,
Oh yeah,
I can't think of too many black men who achieve success who make it out unscathed. You know what I'm saying? Like I think about all of my quote heroes unquote and like all of the artists that I admire. Think about a lot of people I've just had the privilege of meeting and spending time with. And like money can help you distract you from that stuff, but it doesn't really solve the problem. You know what I mean? Like you just, if anything, it helps, it isolates you. Like
Nope.
can, I should sit down and really think about this one day. I think about some of the blessing I've had with the job that I do is I've had a chance to meet almost all of my favorite musicians. I met a lot of my heroes. I met a lot of like just like really well-known famous people I wanted to meet for a while. And I rarely ever get the sense from them that like this class elevation that they achieve is like is the thing that they really wanted, is making them happy. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yo, I'm making more money and I live, and now all my neighbors are white
Nope.
people that look at me weird. My kid goes to school, all these weird ass white kids that I don't fully know how to relate to them. We don't have a sense of community, or the sense of community that we do have is so small because not many people can understand this experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't relate to what it's like being a wealthy and famous black man. That shit seems terrible, you know? Like, it seems great in some ways, right? But like in a sense of feeling like a fulfilled person, um, I'm not sure that's not the ticket, you know? Like you just all your problems just follow you.
Uh, yeah, it's only monetary, man. It's I feel like now, but yo, I tell you, man, I probably would
Yeah.
have had that same
Yeah.
mindset and until I did therapy. When I really started committing to having deep, truthful conversations, I was just as stressed out. I'm still
Yeah.
stressed right
Yeah.
now,
And you
but
got
my stress
tools
is
to
in
deal with
different
it too.
places.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, definitely a lot of tools. And so, listen,
Indeed,
we
man.
could talk for another 3 hours, which I would really, really enjoy. Um, so let me ask you this before we do
Crazy.
my final part. You know, it's crazy. I was thinking now that you were telling me about the whole it's crazy, the whole filmmaking thing that you do with the in certain different things that you
Mm.
like. I was even thinking like, yo, I should start doing episodes, right? And doing start doing like I'm doing now my episodes, and then like talk, but then go back and
Yo,
like edit and
can I
add
tell
like
you? Can I tell
commercials that
you?
I would think
We're the
that would
same
be
person.
funny.
All right, so I didn't even want to bring this up. Last year I did a similar thing. I recorded a bunch of men that I know that are fathers, black men, and I took 6 dudes, like specifically men that were partnered and parent and that had kids, and just talked to them about their experiences. Part is my own healing. I never put it out, but the reason I never put it out
Bro.
and that I'm gonna do soon is because I have these commercials that I wrote, these dumb sketches that I think are funny, like a commercial for like an artisanal bean pie, or like one that's like
Yo, why we always used to get on, bro? Bean
Yo,
pies
bean
was
pies are my
yo.
shit. I
That
mean,
was
listen to my
that.
man,
Was, yo,
man. You know,
why'd you bring that up, man?
I couldn't have gotten out of this life without I love a bean pie's name being named Rashid Zakat. Um, exactly. Like, but I can't
Right? Like if you weren't, they'd be like
exactly.
traitor,
Haram. But yeah, man, no, that's
burn
so funny that you
them.
say that, man. You should 100% do that because your mind is crazy.
Yo, but you know, it was meant for us to talk, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm not just saying this because you
Yeah,
had brought this up, but
yeah. That was
remember we
like
were
2 years
talking,
ago.
and I was telling you I wanted to do a documentary before I did the podcast, right?
Oh,
So my
Same thing.
docker,
Oh yeah, right. We were on Facebook. I'm thinking like
no, it
before you
was
started the
a couple
podcast.
months ago.
Yeah.
Correct the mundo. So I wanted to do a documentary, but I didn't know shit about doing none of that. And I wanted to do a documentary on
Mhm.
black fathers that I know, random black fathers, and literally telling their like you were telling me how you uh, portray them in that light and having telling their story on the side.
Mm.
That's the envision I had that I wanted the documentary to be.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like by doing the podcast will have a bigger following behind it So when I did do
Absolutely.
it,
Absolutely.
that it would be bigger than what if I just came out with some shit, you know. So that's something that
Okay.
I really want to shoot for by Father's Day of next year. So maybe that's something that, we could talk about, because what you just said off the bat really resonated to me, because that's not even kind of, but that is the direction I wanted to go, that I felt like our people deserve to have and just show, because we don't have that type of
Yeah. Yeah.
uh
Yeah. And then when we do, it's
spotlight.
always in
And
it's always like in opposition of, you know what I mean? It's like, we're doing this to break the stigma. It's like, no, yo, black dads have a particular style of they doing stuff. Let's just see what they do. You know what I mean? And let them talk about what their experiences are on their own, you know? Um, yeah, man. I'd love to.
yep, yep. So yeah, I feel like it's something that our culture needs, especially in our city,
Even and a blueprint for
um,
folks coming up too, you
more
know?
than ever, so we'll,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely, because it's just like it's something different. It's something different. It's something that is refreshing, and it's about time we get the treatment that we get. So I know you were
Hmm.
mentioning to
Yeah.
me, your girlfriend has a daughter, right?
We've been together for, it'll be
How long
going on
y'all
three
been
years
together for
now.
a little while, or
Yeah.
snap? So you sound like
I'm in it to
you
win it,
very
if that will. Like,
uh
and we're thinking about
damn,
what the next steps are.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
That's it, man.
I hope
Because it
so. I
sounded like
hope so.
that
I mean,
little
she's
girl.
just like,
It sounded like that little
it's
girl really
interesting, man,
look
dating
up to
somebody
you.
with a kid. I don't have kids of my own. I've always had a lot of kids in my life. Like a lot of my friends have kids, growing up back home, they're just like communities of children. That's just what you do. You're just a part of them. And so, but I never dated anybody with a child before. And, especially, this person, meeting her and being like, yo, I'm trying to lock it down. So much of her appeal is honestly her daughter is JoJo. Like, there's something I'm finding too about opening myself up to her. And it's hard, like we just had a conversation. I noticed I was putting up some boundaries on myself because I don't want to mess up that girl's life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have my own trauma from my pops and I'm working out, I just hit a new therapist. And
Right.
but so much of the bonus of this, Shanti's amazing and she's great and she's
Mm.
dope. But so much of the bonus of her is JoJo and like the energy she brings, the perspective that she brings. Like, there's something that I'm able to reconnect with my childhood in a way with her, because we just watch cartoons and stuff and like play with Legos and that stuff I do anyway. I got I, by myself, exactly. Like, what I'm saying, like, especially during the
Right.
pandemic, that's
Off
been
the
a
bat
bonding
by
moment
yourself,
anyway.
like
And like, I'm gonna watch like Avengers a bunch of times anyway. And so she is into that stuff and like she puts me onto some stuff, I put her onto some stuff, and it would be now starting to get to a place where it would be wild to be like, yo, what would be like, it'd be wild if, because we still don't see each other often, we don't live together yet. And so I see them a couple times a week. But it would be like, yo, it'd be wild. Like, I wonder what JoJo feels about this. I want, like, if I'm watching something or like, or like if I see something cool come up that I think she would be interested in, knowing that some things are just way more fun watching it or doing that with her. You know what I'm saying? And it is.
that's huge, man. And real power to you, bro, because a lot of us will get in these relationships with these women, um, who have
Mm-hmm.
kids, or
Mm-hmm.
or themselves, where we have our own trauma. And we know that we know why we're angry. There's no reason why we don't know why we're angry, or why we're putting up boundaries, or why we're stumbling. Um, but for you to know that, for you to be like, okay, I need to get to here to be a better person, um, is huge, man. Because that sounds like it's a roadblock
Yeah.
for
I
you
mean, and
that's
shout
been,
out to
and
Shanti,
you
my
just want to
girlfriend
get
too.
past that and have a smooth
I think
ride,
what we
man.
do for each other that I'm grateful for is, we can kind of look into each other and like see more potential. She definitely sees a lot more in me than I'll see in myself sometimes. And I think vice versa. And sometimes it's just reminding, so literally, we had a conversation about a week or so ago, and, trying to do some future planning where she just had to remind me of like, listen, you're gonna mess up her life a little bit. Like that's just inherent of being a parent to some degree and taking on that role. But that doesn't mean that on a whole, you're not gonna add and that you don't have something to contribute that is important and meaningful. Um, yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, man.
That's huge, man.
Shanti.
That's
No,
it's
definitely gotta lock her
huge
down. She's
that
incredible.
shit.
She's
No, you gotta lock. What's her name
phenomenal
again,
to say the least.
bro? That the ones that look in, and that's I'll tell you this, man. If dealing with the type of women I've dealt in my life, um, and at the beginning of my marriage, I didn't give a lot of credit to
Mm,
my wife, and I didn't give a lot of credit to the type of person she was that helped me through a
right,
lot of
right.
my own trauma. Because the first year that me and her got married, my mom was killed that year, so it was very hard. It was very hard to stay uh
No, I couldn't.
committed,
I
and
can't.
not saying
I couldn't
committed
imagine
like,
that, man. I like my
adultery
brain
committed,
won't
like
let me fathom that, bro.
committed like, yeah, yeah. So,
Right,
and I was at T-Mobile, so you know how they did. You know how
right.
retail does. Deaths. They be like, all right, hey man,
See you
take the
tomorrow.
day
Right.
off. You know, wipe off the dirt. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm like, well, man, my mom
Yeah.
just what, bro? You think I'm gonna sell a phone after this? No, man.
Mm,
And I was like, I'm just gonna work, and eventually I'll forget about it. But I didn't see like it was doing more damage than anything. It was definitely tearing us apart. Um,
yeah.
I was a worse father because I was just so angry. So a lot of my aggression that I had, even with they moms, them not being understanding that their child's grandmom just died.
Right.
Like it's all right. Fuck Julian. That's always gonna be there. But like your children had a very special bond with my mother. So like, what are we doing? But I I had so many
Right.
expectations for people that I realized that I can't put those on people because it's only affecting me. It's not affecting them, it's affecting me. The expectations that I put on somebody else. Like I expect them to be act a
Yeah.
certain way because my
Yeah.
mom died. I had to realize that they
But then
probably
you.
don't care, you know. Um, Now that I got into with actually going through and getting the help that I need, uh, it's just
Right.
it's still like my head's
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
foggy,
But I mean, like, even you
but
figuring
I
out
got the
the
headlights
type of
on.
healing that
You know
you
what I mean?
need, that feels like that's such a long journey, man. Like, not even like talking about getting on the road to finding a place of healing and shifting and moving forward, but even figuring out that needs to happen and then figuring out how to make that happen, man. Like, that's not small. That's like, and that's a forever thing, bro. Like that. I don't know. I'm still so sorry, bro. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
It's
And like, who
huge.
knows how to deal with that shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, who really knows you specifically how you're
So
gonna respond and react and like what's gonna come up? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, because like you were saying earlier, the effect certain things have on multiple people. That that struck me because I see what it my mom not being here, the
Yeah.
crash effect it
Yeah.
had on, let alone just me and my siblings,
It is.
about my little sisters, so it's a lot, man. And that's what really I strive
Mm-hmm.
to do this podcast because I was like, there's other people that's feeling this way. There's other people that have all these emotions that can't really talk, that don't know about mental health and
Yeah.
the
Definitely.
happiness you come from. The hard part is starting the journey, and once you start it, it's like you're comfortable talking
Yeah.
about it. It's not a bad thing, and you always look at the statistics of how we're more likely to
Absolutely.
have these
Absolutely.
mental issues. I say PTSD, you know um, we have these issues that
Hmm.
a third of white people have, but we're not getting the help because we don't trust the government. We don't we we didn't have parents that said, "Hey, you need to go see a therapist." You know, it was I don't know. I feel like if my mom
Definitely,
and my
definitely.
dad went to go get therapy, I'd probably be a different person. Who knows? But I know that the tools, like you were saying, tools earlier, the
Yeah.
tools are
And I
definitely
mean,
there
like
if you
what you're saying
actually
too, like the hardest thing is getting
enable
started
yourself
because it's
to
pain,
have
man.
them.
Like there's no avoiding that if you're gonna really try to heal from something or deal with it or whatever, you gotta sit with it and you gotta feel it. Like you gotta really, really, really feel that shit. And who the fuck wants to do that? Excuse my French. I've been cursing all day, so I guess it doesn't matter. But who?
Hey, listen, man,
Oh
listen.
man.
Like I probably lost a couple listeners, probably some Christians too. That be like, oh,
All
they
three
probably had
of
to
them. They
pray on my.
throwing
They
holy
was like,
water on their
listen, man, we
phones.
gotta call all three of them, the Holy Trinity on this
Gotta
guy,
anchor
man.
yourself into Jesus.
All
Um,
all
no, man,
three
but
of
no,
them.
no, but it is. It's like, yo, like that those things. I mean, so much of this, all of this, is like sitting with your pain and asking yourself, what are you gonna do with it? You know what I mean? Am I gonna let this rule by trying to not look at it, or am I gonna sit with it and try to roll through it, or like get the tools from somebody to be able to do that, or the support from people to be able to like see what this pain is and deal with it, because otherwise it's there and it festers and it makes you crazy.
Yep,
Oh,
correct.
damn.
And
Word, word.
last thing, because we about to roll the hour 30 minutes, man. So I, they 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 probably was like, oh, all
Catching my
right. Earlier they
losses.
probably was like, oh, he get ready to end it. This is what he usually does. And they're like, oh, wait, there's more. This must be a bonus part. So by the way, one thing I want to ask you, I'm gonna ask you two more
mm,
things. The first thing is
Yo, I've really been digging
shows.
The
What
Boys.
what shows have you been
I
into?
actually just rewatched The Boys. The Boys is great, man. Um, what else? I gotta
I love the
sit.
boys.
I'm just getting started with Lovecraft Country. I'm super late on as well on
Amazing.
that. I've seen the first two episodes and they were kind of slow. But I keep hearing it's amazing, so I'm gonna get into that. Probably get into the third episode today. Um,
Is really good. I had to rewatch the season
where yeah, I've been
finale
hearing
last night,
literally from
but
everybody. Everybody's
it's
saying like,
it's
"Yo,
one of those
it's like
shows
one of
that
the best
you
shows
have to
ever."
watch, man.
So I gotta peep that, and then what else? And then I've been watching. Like I said, I've been watching more cartoon stuff. Like watching some of the Studio Ghibli stuff with the 10-year-old here and there. Um, I'm going back. I went back because I wanted to put her on to Young Justice. She had never seen it before, and I forgot how good that show was, man. And yeah,
Yeah, so she could watch the
yeah,
Cartoon Network part,
yeah.
the
It gets
Cartoon
more
Network
real. You're right.
seasons.
It definitely gets more
Just let her
raw
watch that because
in the latter
The
seasons.
DC Network ones, definitely,
Woo! Are you watching that show?
bro.
Yeah, yeah,
Harley
yeah, yeah,
Quinn
yeah.
show,
That show is
the
probably
cartoon
I
show.
forgot all about Harley Quinn, and that's probably my favorite cartoon to come out in the last
That's
couple
some
years.
grittiness right there.
Like that show was so good, man. Um, yeah, yeah, and it's like
Bro,
I've watched that series twice now. Like I watched it and then went back and
it's
rewatched it,
hilarious,
and it's
yo.
like Arrested Development or like The Office, where it's like the first layer of jokes you see the first time you watch it, and then you watch it again, and there's so many things happening in the background, so many little like comic book references. You know what I'm saying? It's great. It's great. Yeah, Watchmen was fantastic too, man. Uh, that's another one I went back. I watched
You
it
check out
twice,
Watchmen.
just to like, because
Amazing,
like
bro.
you remember how the first few episodes you don't really know what's going on, and then it hits you, and it's like what? And then to go to know the story and go back and watch how they're laying it out again. It's just I don't know if we'll get TV like that again. I'm hoping Lovecraft Country is like that level of good. Excuse me, is that level of good?
It
Yeah.
it is. I try to put people on Watchmen too, but then they I don't know. Like, I feel like Watchmen
Hmm.
set the tone. because it was, for one, they're both on HBO. So I feel like the level of detail in that show um resonates, and then you have Lovecraft, which adds on to that because it's the same
Right,
stuff. You
right,
got
right.
two black. I think I'm so captivated because it's black superheroes.
Hmm.
And we get, when I grew up, all we everybody that I saw had a
Yeah,
pale
yeah.
face.
But even Batman was like an unethical billionaire. You know what I'm
I love
saying?
Batman because he wore dark. You know,
I know. You know, Batman
oh
definitely voted
yeah,
for Trump.
yeah.
Just saying.
He probably be mad with 50 Cent right now.
Taxes.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah. He's a Trump supporter.
Because you know,
Uh,
like all of those Batmobiles, all of them joints are like on the
where's
books.
Pence?
You know what I'm saying? He's not trying to have anybody with.
Yeah, because then
Right,
on the
right.
last one, when Bane was like, I'm going to take your toys. I was like, all right, and then all the Batmobiles fell down.
He did, yo.
But see,
Ludicrous
he still needed Morgan Freeman to make his shit for him. So it's like he's like, look, here's some money. I need you to put something together to scramble this shit so I can you know uh
Right. I
go
don't think
see
this is a
Joker
good
and
thing for us
Sonic
to
Vision. He's like, but this is
masturbate.
against the law, Bruce.
Oh man, I'm about to go back and watch that joint night. Maybe I'll watch Los Prospects tomorrow. Yo, I may go back and watch the Dark Knight joints.
Bro, the Dark Knight,
Yeah,
all of them
yeah.
are good. That's why I'm really hoping that Robert Pattinson
I think so too.
does
I mean, so
good
far it's
because
set up. Like the dude, I forget
but
the
I
actor's
like
name
the
that's playing
trailer.
the
I think
Riddler.
Robert Pattinson is
Is
a good actor.
I like him in like he's always great and stuff. Like There Will Be Blood. He's always that like weird. He was the bull in prison.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he's so good at those
he
like kind of like menacing, quirky
he was in
characters.
Prisoners.
And then you make as Jeffrey Wright, my dad, is Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, and I
And
loved him in Casino Royale in yeah. So it sucks with, like when you was telling me when COVID hit
yeah.
and you do film, it just sucks because that a lot of my happiness and joy comes from watching movies and staring at a screen. And the thing is, when I
Mm,
watch movies, I don't watch movies to
yeah.
zone out. I watch movies because they got meaning to me, and I want to gain something from watching them. I watch all different, I watch all different types of scales of movies. Like people, that I think that's why my wife loves me because she'll be watching the show. Like
Mhm.
she was watching
Yeah.
P
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Valley or uh,
Yeah.
Pose. Have you heard of Pose? And the thing is, I'll sit there and watch them with her and just be like, it's nothing. And then her
Yeah.
girlfriend's like,
Because
oh,
that's
Julie
so they're
watched that
like
show with
windows
you?
into people's
And I'll
worlds.
be
You know what I
like,
mean?
she'd be like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
he watched anything because right. And you think about it, I watched it because I'm like, I want to know what they went through at that time
Yeah. Yeah.
when
Yeah.
the country uh it's okay to kill them. It was or they had everybody had all
Have you
these
ever seen
diseases and
Paris is
AIDS, and
Burning?
they
That movie?
knew that they were getting it, and they weren't helping them because they were wanting to
Word.
kill them
I
off.
would. Yeah. Like just that imposed to me. Um,
I want to say
I've only
yeah,
seen 2 or 3 episodes of Pose, and I gotta watch it more. It's just the acting on that show is so bad. I know somebody on that show too, and the acting is just really bad. Anyway, but there's this film Paris is Burning that's so much of like the style of Pose, because it's about the house balls in New York in
it
the
is.
'80s,
Yeah,
and yeah, no, just all the stuff you're talking about, man. But I would recommend a watch because it's like some of the stuff that's interesting in Pose, like the costumes and stuff like that. But the film, I don't know, man. The film is one of it's like one of the best documentaries of all time, I think. But also, it has a lot of symmetry with that show. Please,
I'm gonna
please,
catch it, and then what I'm gonna do is when we hang up, I'm just gonna screenshot you all the anime I'm
for
watching. So we could get a little
Done. I'm
get a
with it,
little
yo. I'm with it. Cause I know you got the shit too. I know you got the
sisterhood of
anime,
traveling anime pants or
the
something. I
deep
don't
cut
know.
anime joints, and I'm just like, right, right. Hey man, you want this? Hey bro, you want? Because I just watched Monster
Hey,
too,
I'm
which
the
was
I'm the anime
fantastic. It
plug.
dragged on a little bit, but it was fantastic. And yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah. This has been great.
Yeah. So what I usually do at the end of my show, and this is like usually at this time that the music, uh, I'm gonna add the audio because I feel like I gotta show my skills on this episode. But I
Yeah,
usually do like a takeaway, like something that we gained from our talk today. I usually try to spotlight that at the end, and then
yeah, man.
so let's start there. Like,
No, some
what
some of
is
it is.
anything that
I
I
mean,
know
for
we
me, some
talked a
of it was
long
just the
time, so
updates
it's a
on your life,
lot of shit,
honestly.
So
That. I mean, that's the main reason I was excited to do this is just to it's been so long since we've had a chance to really.
oh yeah,
Yeah, man.
it's been a very long time. It's been such a long time, but
Definitely.
I always tell people that's how I know
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
when I'm connected with somebody spiritually because
yeah.
we could pick up
And it's
like
all
nothing
love.
happened. Like it's not
Exactly.
look, hey, I know your life happened. Shit happens. Like what's up now? Like what's good?
It's bigger
Yeah,
than
it's
these
all love. I don't
podcasts.
got no why I got no,
Yeah,
it's
man.
it's
No, I
it's
mean, but
bigger than
updating
that.
your life
It's
is
bigger than
important,
rap,
and
as they would
really
say.
just getting to build about like
It's bigger than
where
the
we
streets,
can
man.
really just show some more
Um,
vulnerability as Black men. That to me is super close to my heart.
yeah. And hearing no, definitely hearing your update and also hearing you going through that journey because of some of the scars that you've had from
Hmm.
even though you are the person you are now, it's always going to be that inside voice in your head telling you, hey, you could have been better, if your dad was there to teach you these
Yeah,
things, or you know so you got to go through that journey to break that habit, and I feel like I really appreciate you sharing that with me,
word. Appreciate it, man.
and I look forward to hearing more of your journey through that, so um but
Crazy.
that's it. This is wow. This has been it's crazy because it's crazy. I never thought that
Yeah, yeah.
I would have so
No,
many
man, but
of these great conversations with people that look like me. You know, I would right. I would always walk on the streets and just keep my head down. I wouldn't talk to other black people. I wouldn't acknowledge because I
yeah,
was just so used
yeah,
to seeing black people just being angry and frustrated and you know saying hello
yeah.
to another black person or a black person looking at me in my eyes and saying hello, it actually makes my day a little bit better, so to say that, I really whoever stayed for this
Indeed, indeed, indeed.
the
And
rest of
it's
this
been a
shit
pleasure, bro.
show, I applaud y'all. But um the oh, it's been a pleasure, and I appreciate everyone listening to another
Yeah,
episode of Melanin Dads. Please, please,
indeed.
please sanitize your hands, social distance, wear a mask, and please vote. Um, November 3rd. Please use your voice. Please go out there and they say our votes don't count, but I got text messages.
Hmm.
Uh, I have pieces of mail showing me that they actually do care about our vote. So please go out and vote. Um, I'm gonna add your stuff to the episode sheet so that everybody can go and see and look through the eyes of your lens and just show the amazing work you have done for our city. And I look forward to talking more about you about my plan so that we can bring it to life together so that we
Indeed,
can
man.
definitely make
Indeed,
some
man. Yeah, I'm
magic
looking forward to
and
building more
change
offline.
not only our
Cheers.
lives but the lives of somebody who might need it.
Definitely. Yo, listen, send that. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. You want that damn anime? I
Man,
know you do. Damn.
Yo, love you too, family.
All
And I
right, bro.
appreciate you, man.
I just
Thank
wanted
you.
to say, you man, before we
Peace.
hang up, man.